Hey there, last week I did an interview with the HolonsNetwork that I will link in the sidebar, and one of the main subjects I talked about was drugs. But unfortunately we had some technical difficulties and we had to record everything all over again, and then my Skype kept on crashing, so I think I ended up rambling too much and failed to make some points, so I want to do this now, hopefully in a more coherent and concise manner. To make my position clear from the beginning, I am for legalizing all drugs. All of them, no exception. And to get the subject of marijuana out of the way first, I'm not gonna give now my personal opinion on pot, mainly because I think it's completely irrelevant, and the people who have been watching me for a longer time already know it. So I'm not gonna say that marijuana is good for you. I'm not gonna say that it is bad for you. What I'm gonna say is that criminalizing it, it's plain idiotic. It makes no fucking sense. And putting people in prison because of that is downright insane. First of all, it is a blunt infringement of individual rights, and second, from a social point of view, it's just absurd. You have tobacco and alcohol legal in most countries where cannabis is not, and both tobacco and alcohol are proven to be more damaging to the health and more addictive than marijuana is. How many accidents that happened because the driver was under the influence of alcohol do you hear about every day? Now how about pot? And just think about the role that alcohol has in domestic violence, bar fights, accidental self-injuries. Do you ever hear about any of those things being related to cannabis consumption? How many people get sick and even die from tobacco-related problems? Now, have you heard of one single person lately being sick or dying because of pot? I think punishing people for such victimless crimes, kicking them out of college, putting them in prison is just socially unacceptable. I think we should bloody compensate them somehow. They lose months of their lives, their education, they're thrown in an environment with real criminals. They get their lives screwed over, and for what? I just think this should not happen, and I feel horrible for contributing with money to this, to keeping them in jail. Now, regarding what I said about legalizing all drugs, it's not because I like them. In fact, I hate hard drugs and what they do to people, but that doesn't change the fact that prohibiting them doesn't work. In fact, it does more damage than good. We see that the war on drugs is not working. We see that a shitload of money just gets wasted with zero results. The number of consumers is constantly growing. The black market is growing. All drug-related problems are increasing year by year. On the other hand, decriminalizing drugs has been proven to work. And I will link in the sidebar a study done on Portugal which decriminalized drugs in 2001. And that includes drugs like heroin and cocaine. Prior to that, Portugal was one of the worst countries in Europe in regards to drug-related problems. So they decided to do this experiment and to replace jail punishment with therapy treatment, which was optional. I mean, if you want to remain a coke addict and continue to mess up your life, you can do so, it's your decision to make. Now, what are the results of decriminalizing drugs in Portugal? The number of consumers actually dropped. The number of people seeking treatment almost doubled within just 5 years. The number of HIV cases transmitted through needles dropped drastically, and so did the number of the people who were dying from overdoses. And there are less and less drug addicts in Portugal with every year. The point is, this approach obviously works, while prohibiting drugs obviously doesn't. It would destroy the main cause of all this gang and drug-related violence. Right now, people are killing each other and abusing each other over it. Also, by legalizing them, the drugs would be much less accessible to minors, which is really important because now in many places it is easier for a minor to get cocaine than to get alcohol. And of course, there would be much more information out there. If you want to go do heroin, you would do it, but knowing exactly what you're getting yourself into. There will be a lot of brochures and information wherever they will sell it. Bottom of line, I'm not for the use of hard drugs. Like I said, I hate them. I think they are bad and I wish people wouldn't use them. But the reality is they do, and they will continue to do it. So under those circumstances, I think the best solution is legalizing or decriminalizing them. From a social point of view, financially speaking, and from an individual point of view. And before you go and say that doing so will bring on the next coming of Jesus Christ zombie apocalypse and you will get drug addicts everywhere running around on the streets with needles stuck in their hands, just open a freaking internet page and look for some information, because you're dead wrong. And now for some very boring and lame news. Yes, I have linked my PayPal to my channel page and you can stop messaging me about it. The fact is I had to quit my job and now I'm looking for a new workplace, which sucks because until I find one I'll be earning an average of nothing per day. Anyway, I'll be thinking about some methods to give something back or I don't know, maybe sell something online? My pride and dignity perhaps.
Hey there, wanna buy my shoes?
Until the situation here gets better. And for more important news, Punk Outlaw 76 subscribers may wanna know that his channel got suspended for no apparent reason. He just started a new channel that I will link in the sidebar. Oh yeah, and your ratings still make the vote bots sad in their pants.